comment. And go. It's all you.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this special presentation on Zoom, where we're going to explore video production, video editing, and this whole industry of content creation from, I know, screaming fans already because the content is so good. So we're going to go from everything from what it takes to go from concept all the way to have a deliverable that you can press post with the hashtag and share it with your friends. But before we go through all that, I wanted to get a little bit of an idea of where I came from. Long story short, in a nutshell, Trent and I were in high school together, and I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. And because we live in the San Gabriel Valley, in 8th grade, there was a thing called Career Day, and professionals from the industry came, actors came and talked about the careers. And what they said was they get free food, and I was sold, where lawyers and doctors and other professionals did not get any free food. So I was like, nah, I want to go with the actor who said you get free food. And since then, since I was 13, I learned a little bit about, a little bit about what it means to be in front of the camera. And through college and after college, I learned how to explore my curiosities outside and behind the camera to learn a little bit about what it takes to make photos and videos happen, and to understand what it takes to make those movies and TV shows a possibility. And from there, I realized that anyone can actually make content, and we are doing it every day, whether it's YouTube superstars or TikTok superstars. We're all about telling stories and sharing content. And what differs from professionals and non-professionals is how to tell a great, captivating story, how to shoot it in a way that retains a person's attention, and how to get the message across that you want, and how to do it in a timely manner so that you're not dreaming about this dream project, but you're actually getting stuff done every day, and that you're achieving your goals and achieving your dreams. And that's what we're going to be discussing today. And what I want to start off with a little bit is to kind of get to know who I'm talking to, and get to know what you guys are curious about and what you guys are fascinated by. And if there's anything that I can answer as an actor, as a TV host, as a producer, I'm all ears. Hey, Taylor. Yeah, this one's for you. So let's start with you, Taylor. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what got you into being curious about content creation.
Talking to you.
What do you say?
He's asking you what got you into content creation. What got you curious? She
I
TikToks.
don't know. It's
She
social
TikToks a lot.
media, so I just started, and then I don't know.
You just started, and congratulations,
Yeah.
you started. You know, you're walking this very thin line where everything you do and say can be used against you in the court of social justice in the future, from now and forever. And that is something that's really scary as a filmmaker, or just a personality, that you guys have to deal with this stuff that, for me and Trent, we don't have anything from our high school days, luckily. But that's really exciting. So when it comes to content creation, and you did social media, what is it that you're using right now? Are you just using your phone? Are you using cameras, DSLRs? What is it that you're using to create your content?
I'm just using my phone right now. Yeah.
Amazing. More than enough technology in that little guy to tell stories. And what are some challenges that you face that you feel like maybe after you create something, you put it up there, give it like a few days, you're like, oh, I'm just not happy with something. Tell me more about that challenge that you might face.
I don't know.
She doesn't get enough likes. She's
No.
afraid. She's afraid she doesn't get enough likes.
What's that? Oh yeah. Do you feel like it's the response rate, or do you feel like, is there something that you feel like it's missing from your content creation? Is the process that you make content hard? Does it take a lot longer than you expect? I guess what I'm trying to do is just get a general idea of where you're at with your content creation endeavors.
Okay, so like on TikTok, I'll just like scroll, and like there's like cool ideas, and then I kind of think, and then I sit there, and then I have an idea, and then I film it, and then I just keep on making it better, I guess.
And at the end of the day, that's exactly right. I mean, like with any profession, you just got to keep doing it, and again and again and again and again and again. And 7 years later, you'll be like just this much better. And that's what it kind of takes, And that's great. So one of the things that I can kind of help you out with here is getting your ideas and how to organize your ideas. Because let's say, for example, you elevate to getting the DSLR or shooting your phone, but not through the app, but just using your camera and like making a story, right? And you want to put those edit pieces together. Let's say you want to do a skit where maybe you're talking to a friend, like a dialogue scene, and there's just a couple of disciplines that you can learn. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to share things that you can look up on YouTube, like basic filmmaking composition, though I can talk about it a little bit if you're curious about it, because there's tons of great content on YouTube that allows to teach you guys how to shoot better B-roll, how to structure a story. But what I can tell you a little bit is about how I took this hobby like you did, right? I used to have these little vlog cameras that are like 1080, not even 1080 HD. They're like 480 standard def, tiny little cameras. And I would just shoot little selfie videos. And everyone thought it was silly. But I'm like, this was 2006, 2007. And it wasn't that serious. But when we started doing short films and we put it on YouTube, we got nominated for an Emmy for a little broadband drama that we did. And it kind of just blew things out of the water. Like, wow, this could be legit, that we could have legitimate stories on streaming networks that could be award winning. So that kind of opened a lot of doors. It wasn't like you had to go through a studio, a big production company, all these deals. You kind of just have to put it out there and be discovered by the right people. Now, in this time, market's a little saturated, but it's okay. What I want to figure out is how to get your content, your creative content, and get you more ideas and resources to go, oh, I didn't know I could use that, separate camera, separate sound systems and stuff like that. And today what I'll do is I'll kind of go through any kind of questions that you guys may have about how I went from a hobbyist to professional in behind the camera, and what I do to kind of have an edge in the game because I have a production company. And what we do differently is what takes other companies 2 to 3 weeks to do, it takes me a day to write, to shoot, to direct, and to edit. And that's mainly focused on commercial content and social media stuff. And it all has to do with how we organize our video footages at the end of the day. So pre-production is something that I don't think a lot of TikTokers or YouTubers know because it's very impulsive, right? But pre-production can really let you hone in on your goals and let you, accomplish it on a timely manner. So any questions so far on kind of like the backstory of where I came from and what we're going to dive into in reference to what you're looking to accomplish as well, Taylor?
Tell them.
No, I don't really have any questions.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna pass it on to anyone else who's also in this group if they have any questions in regarding what we're gonna discuss today and content creation. For example, what I could do right now is I can share with you guys. I'll have like a project we can focus on, and I'm gonna share with you guys something that we shot. It took 1 hour to do. If you can think about it, it took 1 hour to do. I wrote it like 30 minutes beforehand, did the pre-production, got everything secured, shot it in 1 hour, and edited it in the next hour. And this was for Cinco de Mayo, and we did it on a Sunday, just like you. I was scrolling through YouTube, and I'm like, oh, this meme is really cool. I should really do a meme video about how Cinco de Mayo this year is like falling on a twilight zone, because not only is it on a Taco Tuesday, but it's fooled up by a virus named after a Mexican beer. Okay, that's cute. That's clever. All right, let me do a little video on it. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see my laptop. There we go. And I'm going to open up my projects. So what you see right here are project names, and this is really the nitty-gritty stuff that sets us apart. I worked in a big company called Getty Images and Wire Image, and they used to be this big licensing company, and they would essentially go and shoot events, and they would come back to the office at 8 p.m. and they would have like 500 clips, and they would just dump all that clips from a camera into my computer, and they go, okay, we need everything all 500 clips to be uploaded onto their website, captioned, identify everybody that's in the clip, and also edit a little highlight video of that event. And you have 4 hours to do it. And that's kind of the training that I got and then I go, okay, so here we are, we're editing tons of footage and it's due the next morning. And then I'm also working with like freelance filmmakers and doing small commercials on the side. And for them, you know, when we do like a music video or when we're doing like a little Snapchat video or Instagram video, I would ask them, hey, when is it, how soon can we get the final product? And, you know, they'd be like a month or 2 months. And I'm like, why? Why does it take so long to do those traditional kinds of media? And it comes down to how you organize it. So right here that I've highlighted is Cheers Twilight Zone commercial. I have 3 folders inside: active, metadata, and raws. And raws are kind of like where you put all your raw materials, all the stuff that you shot, everything, all the photos, all the videos, all the drone footages, every camera that you have, you just put it into a nice folder and you name it. Then you have a folder called metadata, and that's kind of like your cooking table area, right? That's where you're going to be able to piece things together and you put all your music and assets. An active folder is where you put your final dishes, your completed projects that you could put up line. And that's important. So I use Final Cut Pro. Here we go. And I'm going to run it. Okay, and here we go. All these clips. Have any of you guys seen Final Cut Pro by any chance? No? Okay. So this suite used to cost like $1,500, but now it's like $300 and it's really good. Okay, so here it is. This is the footage. I'm gonna show you guys what the editing looks like. It's pretty simple. You have your main footage trays right here on the bottom. You have your text on top, transition, sound on the bottom. And so this is a general structure. It's nice to have it clean and identifiable. Sometimes it can get really messy and non-visual, and I'm a visual guy, so this is what the piece looks like. Let me know if you guys can hear the video.
Imagine, if you will, a world where Cinco de Mayo falls on a Taco Tuesday, only to be ruined by a virus named after a Mexican beer. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay at home.
So you see, super simple, just a quick clip, something that you can put on TikTok, something you can put on Instagram. You have an idea, let's polish it up, make it look nice, make it look professional. And that's pretty much how we start off our concept. And we do this kind of every other day just so that we have practice and we're able to do it. Just based on what you saw so far, Taylor, do you have any questions on the editing process or the production aspect of taking what you shoot on your phone to something a little bit more sophisticated?
I do. It sounds super expensive.
Ah,
Because I would be the one paying for all this stuff.
it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. So actually, that's a very important question. A lot of filmmakers will be like, "Oh, you need this camera. It's like $50,000 camera, right?" And I'm like, "No. You can go with an iPhone, and you could go with something even cheaper that I had even Trent buy." And you know, Trent is very frugal, so if he's buying it, you know, it's very affordable. And that's the DJI Osmo Pocket. If you want to hear what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up my Amazon, and I'm going to show you guys what that product looks like. DJI Osmo Pocket. So this little camera right here is pretty affordable, and it's a pretty good game changer. It's under $400, and the quality is just incredible. With it, you could do so many things. And I like to promote this little product just because, one, I'm all about affordability. I think that creating great content is like artwork. If you gave two people a blank piece of paper and a couple of color pencils and they both cost $1 for the Dollar Tree, you're going to have dramatically different pieces of art because one has maybe more discipline and training and the other doesn't. And so similar to that, it's not about the quality of the paper or the quality of the pencils or the quality of the camera necessarily. As long as it works, you're going to be able to do a lot of great stuff. And so so if your kid complains that your camera is not the toppest quality, you just have to say, kid, you just have to work a little harder, that it's not so much the most expensive camera that comes into play. This camera can be used for actual professional commercials as well as just random hobby stuff, as well as personal home videos as well. If we go to my Facebook page, I'll pull up a little video. This, I'm going to show a little bit. This is a nonprofit video that we did from that little camera. Here we go. And you can just kind of see, just that little camera does this kind of work. It's the size of this little finger. It's like tiny. And you could do talking pieces, interviews, and just a great amount of B-roll and stuff like that. So regarding camera, oh, sorry, it's a picture, it's a video about a youth center that's raising funds. So we would do these fundraiser videos, and at the end of the day, they raised about like $500,000 from the video content because of good storytelling. So regards to cameras, did you have any particular questions? Any particular camera that you're really interested in getting, or have you guys looked into things like f-stop, ISO, and shutter, and all those technical stuff regarding cameras? Taylor, I'm looking at you, girl.
No.
No.
She's. I mean, if anybody in our family is interested in kind of electronic stuff, it would be my wife. She's before Taylor was born. I mean, she spent a bunch of money on electronic stuff and stuff that's just been sitting in our on our bookshelf and hasn't really been touched since we've gotten busy.
Oh man, you know, after a year, it becomes paperweight.
Yeah, because I mean, we're when we had just gotten married, we bought a Canon SLR camera. We also had like a Sony camcorder, stuff like that. But I mean, this was before the advent of kind of high-end phone camera technology. So
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of splurged on that stuff, and then over the years, like, well, we don't need this anymore. We take pictures off of our camera phone, and it's in our pocket, and it's more easily accessible. Because when she was younger, I used to take this big old giant camera bag with us everywhere we went. You know, we got some nice pictures, but then over time, it's like, oh, got a camera phone. Why do I need to lug this big equipment all over the place? So we really haven't splurged on anything for over a decade. So I mean, all that stuff that we have is pretty obsolete. I mean, it is essentially a paperweight.
You're absolutely right. And that's a challenge with technology, is that, you know, we get so seduced by expensive, flashy stuff that, you know, if there's no ROI, return on that investment, if you can't pay it off within, you know, a month or whatever, that it becomes obsolete. You know, I use my iPhone a lot nowadays, and this would be a nice, you know, $30 investment. Is you have this little attachment with like 4 different types of lenses. That's going to be your zoom, your macro lens, your wide lens, and it just slides over to your actual lens cameras, and that's pretty much it right there. And the ND filter.
It's a really small picture. Can you take off the screen share?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Let me go ahead and there we go. So this little lens adapter is phenomenal. It protects it, and then it slides on so that you can do macro lenses, micro lenses, wide lenses, a slew of them. So the macro is just phenomenal because you could get tiny little details. So an ant would be about like this big on your screen, you know, and that's really good for different types of content. Hey Taylor, tell me, what was the last TikTok post that you made, and what was your inspiration? Time to plug yourself.
Okay, it wasn't the last one, but it was kind of funny. It was like this haiku thing where it's like a pose thing. So like I'll do a video and then I'll pose for it, and then like a volleyball comes, and then it's a picture of the haiku thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that? Where did you get the inspiration from?
I saw someone else do it, and then I kind of just I twitched it up a little bit. Like I did different pictures, you know, different poses.
Oh, that's cool. You know, it's a wild world out there, and people, you know, may underestimate TikTok because a lot of kids are in there. But you guys are the future of filmmaking in the, you know, next generation. Especially with COVID-19, like putting an N, right? Because, you know, you go, there's these times where you go, Hollywood executives are like, oh, we're Hollywood executives. You guys are little YouTubers with your phone cameras. Nothing could stop these Hollywood executives. And here we are now. Kids with their phones are working, making seven figures, while big super A-listers are sitting at home going, when am I going to have work again? So this is exciting, you know, stuff that what you're doing. I'm trying to encourage you to say that there's a huge future for the content that you guys create. So are new cameras able to do videos like this? Yes, actually, any camera, any Canon camera can that can do video. It depends on which Canon camera you have. Even the EOS Rebels can do videos now. The Canon 5D, 70s, they all do great videos. The only challenge with the Canon cameras is that it can't do long formats. So it has a tendency to stop every 10 minutes. And that's okay if you're doing like these fun short stuff where you're only, you know, filming 1 or 2 minutes at a time. But some of the limitations on my Canon cameras are that even with my Sony, you know, Sony A7 III, this is probably my biggest main workhorse now. But the thing is, like, the body's like $2,000 and the lens is like $3,000. I know it hurts. It hurts my soul. But I'm competing with clients who are, or people who are using like the $50,000 cameras, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have that much stress as them, where they spent $50,000 on a camera and they're renting it out for like $100 a day. How long do you think they have to rent it out until it either breaks or they get their money back at $40,000 of retail value? So that's, you know, just like, you know, your pop said, it's, you know, sometimes we invest a lot and it's hard to make that money back. And I am all about investing a small sum and making tenfold the return on that. But yeah, Taylor, talk to me. What do you want to know? What do you want to do? How do you want to challenge yourself?
I don't know. Do you do like college recruiting videos and like put stuff together for that?
Yeah, we do. We have done college recruiting videos, but you know, they're just like any other video where we would have these meetings. Let's say, for example, this is a good segue of when clients come to me, right? Whether they're college, universities saying, hey, Adrian, I need a college recruiting video. How much is that going to cost, right? And typically people would come up with that. And I kind of go, look, listen, it's going to be all based on your concept. But with college recruiting video, it's about identifying what story you want to tell, who you want to appeal to, and getting all that pre-production in order. So yeah, I've done some college recruiting videos. You get like all these beauty shots of the colleges, some drone footages, some teachers talking about how inspirational they are, some students who go, I need to pay off my student debt, so I'll be in this video, and you know, and a couple of series of things like that for college recruiting videos. What got you interested in college recruiting videos, or what got you asking that?
Well, it's less from the college perspective. It's more for her applying to colleges, because I mean, one of the things that they do for, or one of the things they ask for when you're trying to get, I guess, college scholarships is to kind of put yourself out there. So it's almost like I don't know, Trent, how would you describe it? You've done more of these than we have.
Is it your like highlight video reel for your
Something
college?
like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like their highlight reel, but just
Okay.
skills.
I think with this format, with college videos, like any personal bio videos or any kind of self-promotional marketing videos, it comes down to Simon Sinek is one person I really enjoy, and he explains that, you know, we have to sell ourselves to whoever we're trying to persuade, right? And when it comes to presenting ourselves, it's not so much what you do that matters. Like nobody wants you to, you know, go down all your list of accomplishments, all your achievements, because they don't necessarily care. What people care about isn't what you do, but why you do it. And so when you're presenting a video about yourself, it's important to make yourself unique, to tell a personal story, um, and start with the why. Why do you do what you do? You know, why is it important for you to do what you do, and why is it important for you to pursue what you want to pursue? Those types of approaches are more effective, not only in the recruiting realm, but also in just the general content creation. Because I think people have a tendency to list all their achievements based on maybe perhaps a little bit insecurity. They just want to qualify themselves, and they don't get to focus a lot more on what's more memorable, which is the why you do what you do, who you are, where you came from, and what makes you different from every other person. Does that kind of make sense for you, though, Taylor? Awesome. You're kind of muted though, so I can't quite hear you. I feel like the delay is like a CNN. And back to you, Taylor. And then 3 seconds later,
Yes.
oh yes. um, Trent, how has video helped you and the kids out so far with college stuff?
Um, Basically, nowadays, recruiting is kind of all done by videos. It's basically, you know, like how you've talked about how movies and shows are pitched to executives and stuff. So you still need that storyboard, the script, and everything. So the athletes' highlight video is basically their script. So it's not necessarily saying we're going to buy it off of the script that's turned in. It's more about, hey, this interests me. Let's meet, let's talk, and see how each individual athlete, uh, you know, whether or not they're going to fit what I'm looking for my next, you know, film, but in this case, next athlete.
Yep. There's a couple of books I love recommending, and I'm not a big reader, so this is saying a lot. There's a little black book of the little black book of connections, by Jeff Gottmer. And this book is important because this is what got me to meet like President Barack Obama, for example. Just knowing how to network and knowing how to what it means to go into like a networking event, or understanding how to build meaningful relationships and connections with people, and how to approach that kind of concept, because I don't think they teach that necessarily in school. It's not just go out there and, hey, do you want to be a friend? Here's a business card. Let's follow each other on Instagram. But understanding how to make actual, tangible, valuable connections. And I use that because it helps a lot in, you know, say for example, whether you're pursuing a academic career and going to the professional realm, getting to connect with people is important. Okay, let me look at this question. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a quick couple of seconds of filming and then show off how to edit in Final Cut. Does that sound good? Great. So I'll be cool like you, Taylor. I'm gonna use my phone. And if you wanna do let's say you wanna do a daily vlog, right? Or if you wanna tell some stories, it's important to structure it like a sandwich. And a sandwich has a bun, a burger, and a bun. A beginning, a middle, and an end, right? So simple as that. It's 1, 2, 3, and I cannot teach the basics enough. You want to have a good comprehensive intro where you tell people what you want to talk about, then you do it, and then afterwards you tell them what you talked about. I will go ahead and film. What should we film? What should we do? let's say, do you have an iPhone? Is that what you guys use? I can't hear you. Is your mic muted?
Oh,
There you go. I could hear you kind of now.
Yeah, she has an iPhone. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a Mac?
no.
Okay. So the app I'm going to use is called Final Cut Pro. If you have any kind of MacBook or anything, you can there's a free one up there called iMovie, and that's really good too. There's also iMovie on your iPhone as well, and that's free. So iMovie on your phone as well as iMovie on your any Mac computer is going to be sufficient enough. So here we go. I'm gonna do a quick little video, and I'm gonna airdrop it to my MacBook. I'm gonna put in my Final Cut Pro, and I'm gonna do all the trimming and editing and cutting, and then I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like and all these little functions. Okay, let's do it. Selfie tape video. Hey guys, this is my introduction to my sample video of shooting and editing on the spot on command, and here we have all our friends on our Zoom over here. There's Trent, there's Taylor, there's Samantha, I don't know what this E is, and there's Lucy, and there's 2 black spots. Okay, so that's my introduction, and I'm gonna go ahead and pause there and say, go ahead, let's see the show. Then I'm gonna do a quick outro, which is, okay guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys wanna see more, make sure you guys check out Zaw Studios, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, done. And that's it. That's my intro and outro. And what we're gonna do is put it onto your computer, okay? I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna airdrop it to myself. And then once I get it into my computer, I will share my screen with you guys and get it all prepared. Okay. I've airdropped it to myself. All right, okay, here we go. Where is my Zoom? There it is. I'm gonna share my screen now. All right, I'm gonna walk you guys through the simple basic stuff that, let me see. Okay, good. That I would do with any content creation. First step, number 1, make your folders. It's important to make your folders because you wanna have an external drive. We can go back 10 years from now, go back to this year and go, oh, here's that content, here's that video. I know where it is, exactly where it is. Number 1, I'll make a folder. I'll title it properly, give it a sequential number, 01 space dash, zoom, shoot and edit, sample. And always put a date, May 8th, 2020. Organization is like the key, and I'm not that organized of a person, so it's saying a lot. First folder is the raws. That's where you put all your raw clips. I always use the Subway analogy. You know how Subway has all these like little trays of like dishes and like garnishes and like different ingredients? Just like that in filmmaking, it's really important to separate your content as much as you can and as easily as you can. And what takes a lot of filmmakers, beginning filmmakers, a long time is because they would shoot on all these formats, all these videos, and they would just dump it into a big folder. And then they would look at every single clip full at a time and they put it back into the pile. So imagine having like a big box where all these things are just mixed up, and that's really hard to organize and that's really hard to see. So having that organization helps you a lot. The next folder is metadata. That is where we're gonna have our project folders. And then the last is active, where we're gonna have our finished product. So in our raws, we have our 2 little clips of me talking. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open up Final Cut Pro. I'm gonna close this. And I'm gonna start a new library, which is like the full project. I don't wanna get this, there's this terminology where there's a project and there's like the library. The library is like your whole project. So I don't wanna get that mixed up. All right, I'm gonna go here to metadata and I'm gonna name it. I'm going to name it just like I did the event. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and rename the library that same name. And then I'm going to name this event the same. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the raw folder right here. Take my 2 clips, dump it in here, and then now I'm ready to roll, right? This is, on this side is like a bin of all my raw material. And this is my timeline, my project timeline. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a project. This is all my settings, 1080p, 3.98 frames per second. I'll press OK. Have you learned anything, Taylor? Have you learned anything about what it means to shoot in 60 frames or 24 frames or frames per second and all that jazz?
No.
No? Okay.
Admittedly, I think for her, some of the terminology that's being tossed around, she just does stuff. She doesn't really know what it is that she does. She just kind of does it.
That's awesome. And that's how we all should start, okay? And then you go to school and you're like, that's what you call I've been doing all these days, procrastinating. Okay. You get to learn the actual terminology in school. Here we go. So what I just did was I dragged and dropped my clip down to the timeline. I'm zooming in, and then I can play in the little time head here what I just put together. So if I just play it, blah, 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 sounds kind of boring. What I really need is some music in the background, right? So I'm gonna find some music. I have this archive of collecting all these music, so I'm gonna go ahead and type in comedy and pull up an old comedy soundtrack. There you go. That's like sitcom worthy. I'm gonna put it in, drag and drop. It's super simple. You just drag and drop whatever you want. B for blade, I'm gonna blade the N, cut it, done. And what I'm doing right here is I'm fading the music in and I'm fading the music out. Okay, so, and I'm gonna go over to this side and I'm going to lower the volume of the music to negative 15 decibels. Ta-da! And it's gonna sound like this. Hey guys, this is my introduction video of shooting and editing on the spot. Here we have all our friends. So you have your basic video. Let's say you want to put captions and lower thirds and titles. This Final Cut Pro has more capabilities for you to do a lot of titling, and it's not as complicated as you think. You know, there's just so many things. These are like templates that you can buy, pre-animated stuff. So they're pretty much just drag and drop. I can also just, go like TV promo style. So imagine just doing stuff like this for yourself, and I'll just drag and drop, say, for example, like this. And that's like a template where you can put a photo in here, change these titles up by clicking on it. And it's very user-friendly, and that's why I'm a big, big, big Apple fan, because they're meant for dumb people, and I'm a very dumb person. And if you buy an Apple once, you don't have to buy it twice. But if you buy a PC, you're going to have to get a new one in 6 months. And that's why, as cheap as PCs are, if you have to buy 5 of them, it's going to get expensive. They are good for gaming, though, so I definitely would advise that they're ideal for gaming. Okay, let's look at these transitions. So let's say here it is. So that's something like a jump cut, right? I have a clip. Maybe I want to do a transition where I can make something fancy. So there's a little transition button right here, and I could do a cross dissolve where I go, what? So that's a cross dissolve, it blends in, but that's too much. It's too close to my clipping. So let's cut this out. And let's say I want something else. Let's say I want to try this transition. And that's nice. That's going to look like this. See that? So the app allows you, Final Cut program allows you to do a lot of things that are very easy, very user-friendly. It's intuitive, and it allows you to have a lot of creativity without a lot of technical jargon. There's a lot of different programs out there like Advid, Premiere. They're expensive and they're complicated. And they're complicated and expensive for a reason, as professional editors want the barrier to entry to their profession to be a lot harder. So they make it a little bit more challenging, where Final Cut X and Apple decided to make it super user-friendly, and they try to appeal to the mass market, which is the YouTube market, and they've done really well with that. It's an affordable app, and you could do some great professional content. Okay, so let's say you're almost done. Let me put a closing statement. I'll just drag and drop something like this. All right. I'm gonna cut that and delete it. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me, but if I don't respond, it's because I couldn't hear you. So studios, and a lot of different adjustments here. I could do whatever I want. Drop zone. Maybe I can put that. Okay, cool. So let's say I'm done with it, or I can add more. Time to share it. It's as simple as going File, Share, and there are different options. There is 720, 1080, 4K, YouTube, Vimeo. They made it super easy so that there's all these different formats for different platforms. I always pick 1080 Apple. It's just super simple. I can airdrop it to my iPhone, and then I can post on my TikTok or my Instagram right away. And I'll share, and I'll put next, and then I got to make sure I put in the active, and that's how we export. And it's going to be right here, sharing. Okay, any particular fancy stuff that you want to learn in regards to cool things that you thought were super expensive? Because they're not. Green screen, super easy. Barely an inconvenience. And voila, we're done. That was fast. So if there's anything that I would say that is expensive in this whole process, it would be the computer. The computer is like the heart of everything. And my MacBook is about $3,000. So, but it also would last me 10 years. So it's, you know, I have like 9 MacBooks. I still use my 2006 MacBook or MacBook Pro, and it still works. So they do last a bit of a while. They just can't handle like the newest 8K or 4K as efficiently as the newest one, because the resolutions get bigger, but you can still create content. Here it is. You got music, you got content. Okay, you kind of get the idea. I don't want to bore you because I have like super ADD, and I'm like, if I can't watch myself, I can't imagine anyone else watching me. And there you have it, active. You got to make sure it's in the active folder. Metadata has your project folder. It should have your music. Your raws have your raw files. And that is the secret to actually having very fast videos made. There is a one-time fee for Final Cut Pro. That is the beauty of it. Premiere, Photoshop, any PC programs, you pay a subscription. You can't share it easily. And even with Final Cut Pro, I let Trent borrow it many times because he doesn't like paying for anything. So I can let him borrow it. He can use it until I have to have an app update, and then he can't use like the newest library stuff anymore. But he can still use it until, you know, until as much as he wants. But there is some limitations, at which time I'll update a new version and I'll give Trent a new download, and then he'll have another free one for the next 6 months until we get a new update. And that's really amazing about Final Cut Pro. It went from $1,500 to $350. Your camera is your iPhone, or your camera can be your DJI Pocket, which has time lapse, it has slow motion. It's just amazing, and it's the size of your thumb. So that's what is incredible about that Pocket. The only other thing that is missing is sound, and that can get a little bit pricey as we looked at wireless lavs being around like $300, $400. But I'm sure there are cheaper options out there as well that will do just well. Sorry, Taylor, I can't hear you. Is your mic on? Okay. Let's see. Gotcha. Any other questions? Kenji, anything you want to know?
The new mic that Trent got.
What's that?
The new mic that Trent got for the workout videos.
Oh yeah. I can show you guys that.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah. So
I
here's
plan to be a YouTube sensation.
yes. So there's a company called Rode Mics, and they do some great second tier level microphones. So Trent had this one, and then there is Sennheiser. Let me cue it up first, and then I'll. Okay, cool. All right, and then I can share it. Okay, here is my. There we go. So this is what I have for my company. They're Sennheiser. They're industry standards. They're like $599. They're pretty expensive. And then here is what Trent has. It's $399, and it's decent, right? And then there is a cheaper option, which is Wireless Go, which is $200. And that's really small, really simple to use, and pretty affordable. And so you have your whole production package in like this less than $1,000, which is like insane. Because if you were to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and find out ways to earn some side income by doing charity videos or fundraiser videos for my local businesses or my local schools, and they just pay me like $200, say, for example, right? How many little projects do I have to do to make up that $1,000 of initial investment? And with these small projects, small mics and small cameras, you're able to make back that really quickly. And that's really important for me as a business owner, that you're making money off of the investment, not just, buying a bunch of fancy stuff and then not using it. That would be sad. So yeah, that Rode mic is about $300, but I wouldn't go cheap on audios, because you'll be frustrated when you can't hear anything that you recorded all day long. And that's really important. So I'm all about budgeting, and that's really important. Trent, anything you want to add to this?
No, not really. I think, you covered Taylor's questions.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I think you did a good job.
Thank you, guys. And if there's any other things that comes to mind, happy to check it out for you guys, and happy to answer questions. It all comes to how do we structure content? How do we make long content entertaining, and how do we make short content entertaining? And it's all about structures. And so I think that at the end of the day, my walkaway lesson is that success leaves clues. That if you watch any super popular streaming show on YouTube or anything, that they have a very consistent structure. You have first 2 minutes, attention grabbing content that allows us to know what we're going to be learning that day. And then the body is really organized and keeping our attention. There is no rants. And there's things like jump cuts that really help expedite, like Phil DeFranco with, that gives us the news that really helps a lot in expediting that message. For TikTok, good luck. You're the Wild West out there. You're Taylor. You're the Spielberg and the Scorsese of TikTok. Okay, so you got to show us, how to make those millions.
But she can do it on a budget, though, right? I don't have to spend $3,000 for a MacBook.
Oh, yeah. You got to do it on your. As long as you have an iPhone, you can start, and I think that's important.
All right, good, because I'm not buying you the $3,000 computer yet.
Yeah, there you go. So if you can pull in $3,000 in ad revenue, awesome. But you got to show that you're dedicated first, So use whatever you have, and we'll take it from there.
Adrian, what's your TikTok handle?
My TikTok handle is Adrian Zaw, and I have very little followers, and I have very little love.
What?
Because I have barely any followers, because I just started it. Yeah, I have barely any followers. I have like 11 followers.
But Kenji, his Taco Tuesday video got over 10,000 views.
On
Yeah.
YouTube?
On Facebook. On Facebook, it has like 34,000 views. On YouTube, it has like 4,000 videos. It's really odd, the algorithms. Yeah. But yeah,
I saw the taco video on his Instagram, on your Instagram page.
Oh,
so it's on there.
Yeah, it's fun. That kind of quality video doesn't take that long. It doesn't have to take thousands of dollars. And I think that can be translated to side income where you're able to, there's 40,000 small businesses out there, maybe 20,000 after COVID-19, that really need content. I know, Trish, right? Maybe there's 10,000 small businesses after this is all said and done, because SBA loans are just atrocious. But at the end of the day, everyone needs content, and how amazing would it be, Taylor, to get to do what you love and get paid for it one day?
That would be amazing.
Incredible. You could spend, and you'll end up buying more gear, and it'll be an endless unfulfilling cycle of buying new gear and working just to buy more gear.
Nate's thinking right now.
Yeah. They said, show a filmmaker a movie, entertainment for 2 hours, teach someone to be a filmmaker, and then make them poor for life. That's that's the truth, guys. We do it because we love it, and and it's fulfilling. So awesome. Anything else before we adjourn, Trent? Anything else you guys want to cover?
I'm good. This is all for Taylor now.
Yeah, Taylor. Hey, Taylor, by the way, music-wise, if you have iPhone again, I use GarageBand. If you ever tried it, you can actually play custom real instruments and compose your own music as easy as TikTok. Like, you can make your own EDM beats, you can make your own drama, you can compose your own symphonies, and it's super simple, and you won't get any royalty or licensed music violations by making your own beats and music. And that's really an incredible tool, other than having to buy a $20 license for copyright-free song. But TikTok, I mean, you guys use copyrighted songs all the time, so I don't know. All the time. But if you want to make money, you got to make sure everything's clear. And that's important. I had a quick story. I had a very cheap client who's a very rich jewelry store owner, and I edited a video, and I put licensed music, and they're like, we hate it. Use this other song. I'm like, that's Lindsey Sterling. They're like, we don't care. We don't want to pay $50. 2 years later, they got sued for $10,000 from Lindsey Sterling because they were so cheap to go with a $50 licensing fee. And that's the lesson, and, everything I do, I always make it via email or text, never on the phone, because then they're like, it's all your fault. I'm like, let me show you my email about how I said you're going to get sued. And they're like, oh, never mind. Okay. All right, Trent, that's it. Anything else?
That is it. Thank you so much, Adrian.
All right. I'll see you guys on PUBG. Take care.